I'm JWow, and welcome to Planet JWow. You're here on what I'm calling this ride. It's a free course, and what we're talking about today is from gender roles to human relationships. It's a choreography of power and equality. So in the last video, I talked some about power and why it's important, about the masculine and the feminine, the penetrative and the receptive. I want to talk about behavior and just a basic human behavioral truth and a set of truths that take us to a different place. It's an evolution. I have this thing that I do where I take axioms that we have in our culture and I take them one step further so that they step out of euphemism and into a truth that we can really use. Here's an example. So we all know the phrase, never judge a person till you've walked a mile in their shoes. Right? That makes sense. I add, that way, if they turn out to still be a jerk, you're a mile away and you've got their shoes. Okay, let's get real about that. All right? So, behavior that's rewarded persists. That's true, right? Check this out. Behavior that's cherished innovates. If you cherish someone's behavior, they feel safe and secure enough to come up with new ideas. That's what happens. We nurture creativity in nests of safety and security. So behavior that's cherished innovates. Behavior that's celebrated evolves. You know this. If you jump up and down with the puppy and give it a treat and hug it, guess what behavior it does again? Right? Because you celebrated it. That's why we have gold, silver, and bronze medals. So that we can actually celebrate behavior, so that people have something to work toward. So, since that applies across the board in human behavior, what would happen if we celebrated good behavior around human relationships? What if we celebrated people not getting stuck in the outie-innie gender role place and celebrated them getting past that so that it's just about whether or not something's beautiful? Here's an example. There's a young man out there with this amazing mane of hair. I mean, he's a gorgeous young man. He's a boy. He's like 9, 8. This is a gorgeous mane of hair, okay? And it's a big deal. And he's one of the top models in the world right now because he's got this beautiful mane of hair. Now, there are a whole bunch of girls with equally beautiful hair. What has him stand out is that he's a guy, he's a male, with this mane of hair that's usually attributed to women. And so he's being celebrated, literally celebrated, making a ton of money at 8 years old, making 6 figures at 8 years old, because he's got this gorgeous mane of hair. And he's a boy. And he's got an outie. Now, in a patriarchy, and I'm going to get into some detail here, stay with me. In a patriarchy, when the outies do something, it's a good thing. So he's an outie who's doing the hair thing. So now that's a good thing. We have folks who are innies, girls, who do what is normally considered to be the male thing. They build muscles. That's not seen as a good thing. Them getting stronger is seen as a bad thing. Them getting cut, ripped muscles like a guy is seen as a bad thing because that's them as second-class citizens in a patriarchy trying to be like the dominant culture. So it's seen as bad. And it's no different than that little boy with the gorgeous hair that is seen as a women's trait. When we start looking at attributes and don't see it as being male or female, that boy may or may not have any work because there are women with more gorgeous hair than him. And those girls may or may not get put down because they're getting strong and ripped. there are freedoms that happen with the equality that happens when we get out of roles and attributes being based in gender. Okay. When we start cherishing and celebrating our humanity without intersectional divide defining what we get to love, then we get to love the whole humans that we are, and we get to love the whole humans around us, and we get to work on the things that don't work, and not on, oh, it's because you have an outie or an innie. Oh, it's because you have dark skin or light skin. You know, it doesn't have to be about the intersectional differences. And that's what this whole discussion is about ultimately. I tell people, I'm 59 years old. This is 2019 when I'm making this video. I'm 59 years old, LGBTQ, PRSTUV, WXQ, I don't care. When I was growing up, y'all got to have all those labels because when I was growing up, it was a big deal when we differentiated between gay and lesbian. They weren't even going to give us a lesbian. Everything was just gay. Okay? So you all come with your labels. I'm like, I'm not going to memorize all that alphabet soup. I'm not going to do it. And here's 2 reasons why I won't do it. A, because I'm stubborn and I'm old. B, because I know that in our culture, they don't give us those labels so that we have an opportunity to stand up in power. They give us those labels so they've got more channels for flowing divisiveness into to divide us from each other so that we don't have power. It is not divided we stand, united we stand, divided we fall. That's a lie. It's united we stand, divisive we fall. And to me, the LGBTQPRD alphabet soup is just an opportunity for them to not only divide us, to flow divisive troll damage down through our channels so that we think that we're not together. Let me be really clear about all of this masculine, feminine, penetrative, receptive, where I am concerned, and then we'll get back to it in general. I don't care whether you have an innie or an outie, and I don't care where you put it as long as it's not in animals, children, feces, or cadavers. Anything other than that, I'm good. That's my whole thing. Are you a good human being? Do you care about people? Do you take action? Those are the things that matter. Those are the metrics that build a world that has room for everybody. That's what I mean by inclusion and empowerment. Let's increase each other's ability to influence that which is not our isness in powerful ways, in loving ways. And we can do that with languaging that is not based in intersectional strife. That's just what it is. So this penetrative, receptive thing, here's what's possible out of that. You've got women who are penetrative in their energy, strong in their physicality, active in their behaviors, they may or may not care about their looks in terms of beauty. And they have a womb, and they're female and feminine in a new definition of feminine that is not based on them being weaker. Have you noticed? See, if I stood like this, right, so that I'm off balance and off center and I can easily be knocked over, right? Okay, that's feminine, right? I had a guy, when I stood like this, he looked at me and said, "Are you a lesbian?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" He said, "Well, you stand like a man." So because I'm standing on both my feet, I stand like a man? Think about that. Think about these statements, beloveds, because when we get out of this is so trivial. These are easily fixed languaging issues that are designed to keep us apart. All right? So remember, behavior that's rewarded persists. Behavior that's cherished innovates. Behavior that's celebrated evolves. And by the way, evolution is just a bunch of innovations having a rave. Right? That's right. All right? So we get to evolve ourselves by having a whole series of tiny innovations in our language, in our behavior, that equalizes the playing field for all of us in a way that cannot be stopped. Those of you who want to be rebels, welcome to the party. These are the weapons that work. These are the techniques and skills and tools that work because they're based in language, and language is easily conferred and exchanged. And these concepts change how we are in the world, in our everyday lives, and then people see us and they emulate us, and it gets spread like that just by us being our best selves. So the equalization and power dynamic that I'm talking about isn't just us out in the world, it's also who are we to ourselves. What do you do when you're 5'2" and 110 pounds in a soaking wet parka, and you look like last year's Barbie doll, and you're made out of this penetrative go-get-em energy, and you're like, look at me, I look like a trophy wife, okay? And yet I'm this, and everybody says I'm acting like a guy. You're not. You're acting like yourself. You just have very penetrative energy. Okay, and then you don't have to shame yourself. See, all of these things that we base on our gender, they are opportunities for society to shame us into behaving differently. And when you take away that, you take away the shame and the blame, which lets people flourish. That's why this is important. I hope that makes sense. And we're going to talk more about the freedoms that come out of shifting this languaging in the next video. So thank you for your time. I'm CHOREOGRAPHY. This is Planet CHOREOGRAPHY. You're here at From Gender Roles to Human Relationships, a choreography of power and equality. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so very much. Take care.